Hello there, 4th and 5th graders, and welcome to your next math lesson. Today's math lesson is called Measure Area. So please open up your math notebook to the next available page, and at the top of that page, please write that title, Measure Area. Okay, so yesterday we had the lesson called Model Area, and in that lesson we basically learned everything we're going to do today, because today all we're doing is finding the area of rectangles. And in order to find the area of a rectangle, all you have to do is know the formula length times width equals area. You could also write it as area equals length times width. Both of those formulas mean the same thing. It doesn't matter which side is on which side of the equal sign. The length times the width has to equal the area, or said another way but meaning the same thing, the area has to equal the length times the width. So let's jump right into an example. Let's say we have a rectangle here, and let's say this rectangle is 8 feet wide, and let's say it's 12 feet long. So all we have to do is plug the numbers into this formula here. We know length times width equals area. So all we have to do is take those numbers and plug them in. The length is 12, so let's put 12 where the L goes, and the width is 8, so let's put 8 where the W goes. 12 times 8 will equal the area, and since 12 times 8 is 96, the area is 96 feet. But it's not just 96 feet, because writing 96 feet would mean 96 linear feet. That means 96 feet just in a straight line. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about 96 feet as the area that goes in two different directions, this way and this way. So that's why it has to be 96 feet squared. We could also write the answer as 96 square feet. Maybe you've heard your parents talk about the square footage of your house before. Maybe your house is like 1,700 square feet or 1,800 square feet. Well, what they mean is literally that if they had 1 foot by 1 foot tiles, let's say you had this tile that was 1 foot from here to here and 1 foot from here to here. So it's a square that's 1 foot long and 1 foot wide. Let's say your house is 1,700 square feet or 1,700 square feet. That literally means that you could fit 1,700 of these square tiles all over the floor of your house, from wall to wall, in every room and in the hallway and in the bathroom and in the living room. You would be able to fit 1,700 of those on the floor without any of them overlapping. They would be side by side. Okay, that's what square footage means. And so square footage, when people talk about it, they're talking about area, the amount of space inside of a two-dimensional figure. And that's what the floor is of your house. It's two-dimensional because two-dimensional things are flat. Okay, let's jump into another example here. Let's say we have this rectangle here. This pen's running out of ink, so I'm going to trade pens, switch colors here. Let's say we have this rectangle right here. Okay, and let's say this rectangle is 10 inches long and 11 inches wide. Okay, so all we have to do to find the area is just plug the numbers into the formula. Length times width equals area. So you could see 11 as the length, so 11 times 10 is the width, so 11 times 10. And by the way, it doesn't really matter which number you see as the length and which number you see as the width. It's kind of just your perception. So you just have to multiply both numbers together. So 11 times 10 is 110, and it's 110 inches squared. Now, you know how I said you have to multiply both numbers together? You do have to be careful which numbers you multiply together, because sometimes it'll give you all 4 numbers. So let's say we have this rectangle here. And let's say this is, I don't know, let's say it's 9 yards by 16 yards. I'm just kind of making up numbers here, okay? Well, sometimes they'll also include the fact that it's 9 yards here and it's 16 yards here. Sometimes they'll give you the distance all the way around. Now, you can obviously already see that this line and this line are the same length as each other. So sometimes they'll just only give you two numbers, because in telling you that this side is 16 yards, they're also telling you that this side is 16 yards. And in telling you that this side is 9 yards, they're also telling you that this side is 9 yards too, because those sides of a rectangle are parallel and congruent with each other. That means they're the exact same length. They have to be if it's a true rectangle, if you think about it. Now, when they give you all four numbers like this, you have to make sure that you don't multiply like the two 9s together or the two 16s together. It has to be the length and the width. So whichever way you see it, you can't multiply this line times this line together, because then you're multiplying the length times the length. Or maybe you see it as the width, but it's the width times the width. You can't multiply the length of this line times the length of this line, because then you're multiplying the width times the width, or maybe you see that as the length. But either way, you don't multiply the two parallel congruent sides by each other. It has to be one side by the side that's not the same. So this would be 9 times 16. Now I said the side that's not the same. What if it's a square where all the sides are the same? Let's say it's 7 feet, 7 feet, and this side is also 7 feet, and this side is also 7 feet. There, it's just whichever side you see as the length times whichever side you see as the width. So it will be 7 times 7. Okay? So back to this one, we'd want to set this up like that. 9 times 6 is 54. Carry the 5. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14. So it's 144 yards squared, or 144 square yards. Here with this one, 7 times 7 is 49. So it's 49 feet squared, or 49 square feet. Okay, so that's really all you have to do in today's lesson, is just multiply times the width for each rectangle. There's one question on the quiz that's a little tougher, so I want to do an example with you that's like it, but using different numbers. Let's say we had a situation like this. Let's say we know this side is 8 yards long, but we don't know what this side is, okay? It's unknown yards long. But we know that the area of this entire rectangle is 32 square yards, or 32 yards squared. And let's say the question is, what is the perimeter of this rectangle? There's a question exactly like this on today's quiz, so make sure you're paying close attention. Can we find the perimeter of this rectangle when it only gives us the length of one side and it gives us the area too? And the answer is yes, we can. Let's start by writing the formula for finding area, even though we're actually finding perimeter here. Length times width equals area. Let's plug in the numbers that we know. We know the length is 8. 8 times, we don't know what the width is, so let's leave that as W. 8 times the width equals, we know what the area is. 8 times the width equals 32. Well, hopefully you can see there's only one number that you can multiply by 8 in order to equal 32. What is that number? What times 8 equals 32? Well, if you know your times tables, you know that it's 4. So the width is 4. So we just found out what this number is here. It's 4 yards. Now that we know that's a 4, do we also know what this length is here, or what this width is here? Yeah, since this is a rectangle, it has parallel congruent sides. So if this side is 4 yards, this side has to be 4 yards. And if this side is 8 yards, this side has to be 8 yards. And now, can we find the perimeter? Yes, because remember, the formula for finding perimeter of a rectangle is side plus side plus side plus side. So all we have to do is add up 8 plus 4 plus 8 plus 4. So 8 plus 4 is 12, and then we do 8 plus 12, which is 20. So 8 plus 12 is 20, and then we add 4 to that, and it's 24 yards. Now, we don't write squared for this one.
Sorry for the interruption. Miss Matz, could you come to the office, please? Miss Matz, to the office.
We don't write squared for this answer because this is a perimeter answer, and perimeter is actually a length answer, not an area answer, because it's the total distance around. So it's actually just the total distance around in a line. It's a linear, that means it's just a straight line measure, because it's just, if you were to walk around this entire rectangle, how far would you walk? You would walk 24 yards. All right, I hope that makes sense to you guys. Go ahead and do your very, 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 very best on the quiz, which is attached below this video in the Google Classroom, and I will catch you next time. This is Mr. Dauber signing off.